The long-awaited Clash of Titans is finally upon us. My violent friends, Justin the Highlight Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett is kicking off this weekend. So will it be the infamous brawling ability of Rufus, of Garth, Justin Gaethje, or will it be Paddy Pimblett's golden boy star power and crafty, savvy grappling ability? Who will get this done? Who will win and take on Ilia Topuria? Later in the year, we have big fights to dig into here. And for people suggesting this isn't main event worthy, title fight worthy, I think this is one of the more high action, high chaos matchups at lightweight that you can book right now. Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett is going to honestly pop the fuck off. There's a ton on the line here, and both men cause just a ton of carnage in their own ways. So I think we're spoiled with this matchup here. Kayla Harrison is out with an injury, so no Nunes comeback co-main event, sadly, but let's be honest with ourselves, during that fight, we would all just be thinking about Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett anyways, so fine by me. Here we have the King of Brawls, Justin Gaethje, tasked with bringing some serious harm to Paddy Pimblett, who is going through a good evolution, becoming very technical, very composed on the feet, and has really slick grappling ability in the back pocket that makes people respect him. Paddy Pimblett actually gets a lot of respect because of that grappling ability, and we've seen Justin struggle with that in the past. You know, the Oliveira fight comes to mind where he didn't pounce on top after rocking Oliveira pretty badly with his shots. So I'm not saying Paddy Pimblett has zero chance here. A sub sort of is on the table because we've seen how easily it is to submit Justin Gaethje if you can get him there. Paddy Pimblett, in my opinion, is an unpredictable, scrappy wild card, and that's going to get him very far because he is big, he is physical, but I don't think that's enough to beat Justin Gaethje, who lives in the Onyx Gym, this bat cave, the Trevor Whitman bat cave. He is being coached by one of the biggest geniuses in MMA. I know the coach can't get in there with you. This is a solo affair, but I like that. I've always liked Trevor Whitman's coaching ability. He has so many champions in his past. I'm not a big believer in this just being a cookie cutter striker versus grappler matchup. They both have massive resumes. I think this goes a little bit deeper than that, but I am on the side of violence here, and I think Paddy Pimblett is going to be forced to strike at range with Justin Gaethje for as long as this thing goes. I just don't see Justin Gaethje as that beatable of an opponent for Paddy. Like, this isn't the undersized Jared Gordon, low skill ceiling Jared Gordon. This isn't one punch every 2 minutes Michael Chandler, who did blast Paddy Pimblett right on the chin. Like, mad props for taking that shit. But Justin's going to be bringing punches in bunches, okay? I think Paddy Pimblett finally experiences his first elite level brawl, if that makes any sense at all. I'm speaking the language of Justin Gaethje here. And I just see a man who is going to pull Paddy into chaos and really thrive in it. Gaethje comes close to knockouts, Paddy comes close to submissions. I'm going to side with a TKO win of Justin Gaethje. Doctor stoppage. Round 4 or 5, Paddy Pimblett will have earned the respect of many and just taken a hellacious fucking beating at the hands of Justin Gaethje. Swollen legs, beat to shit. Justin Gaethje's getting it done. Could go either way, though. Like I said, crazy sign of caution here. We know how Justin Gaethje operates. He doesn't feel pain, so he will just wade into the pocket, Homer Simpson style. That element of his game is still there. That never really goes away, even though Trevor Whitman has made him considerably more technical over the years. But I'll be the first to admit that Justin Gaethje's style, while entertaining as fuck, is not good for your health. Like, this man's past is just loaded with concussions, so eventually that chin will crack, but I don't think Paddy Pimblett's the guy to get it done. He's not Max Holloway. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. This is the worst opponent to take for your first main event, in my opinion. Justin Gaethje's going to smash up Paddy Pimblett with strikes. No doubt in my mind. We'll see how he adjusts. The Sugar Show is back. We have Sean O'Malley taking on YADONG in the new co-main event. I believe it's still staying 3 rounds. Look, Song Yadong is like a forever contender, but he's actually the guy with more experience on him here, and I believe he's younger as well, so interesting little matchup. Sean O'Malley desperately needs a win here, coming off of two sort of attrition-based losses to Merab Dvalishvili, where he was a bit of an overthinker, meltdown, and just couldn't get the win. Had little glimpses of success, no big issue there, so yeah, I think we'll see a good version of Sean here. Song Yadong is not that slick, and he is sort of a properly sized bantamweight, which is why I think he will lose here, because I don't really see it. Song Yadong likes to strike, prefers to box. I think it'll be Sean O'Malley who brings in a smarter approach, you know, on the back foot, lateral movement, highly athletic, mobile string bean. Is he a bit malnourished, and could Song Yadong bring some high power team alpha male wrestling into the mix? Yes, he could. Like, this fight could get interesting. Sean O'Malley no longer on momentum, no longer on that sort of golden boy Darren Till treatment, let's rush him to the title type momentum that he used to be on. Now he needs to prove that he can actually hang in the bantamweight rankings. Sean O'Malley just comes correct in striking matchups all the time. He enjoys being the taller fighter, the longer fighter, has a win over Piotr Yan. I don't want to glaze that too heavily, but it is on his resume as a win. He did land some convincing damage, but I really want to see a Sugar Sean comeback. We need him for the sport. We need his hype and aura. A downfall could be quite hilarious, so that's not off the table yet. He could have a downfall this year. Sean has sort of teased retirement talk, which I think is just getting clicks and attention. Who knows? I won't put too much stock into that just yet. He's only lost to Merab twice, and that fluke shit from Marlon Vera. So we're going to go the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley. Song Yadong is beatable here. I just hope Sean O'Malley is still off the gooning, still off the Zaza, and keeping the Tim Welch skits to a minimum. Stop trying to be an influencer. Get some momentum back for yourself. You're no longer getting that golden boy privilege. You're up against your first contender here in a long time. So I think Sean O'Malley will impress us, but I'll be going with a Sugar Sean convincing decision win, getting himself some momentum to start off 2026. Song Yadong is dangerous, hard-hitting, young, powerful. Team Alpha Male Wrestling might make an appearance and make this interesting, but Sean O'Malley is used to this type of opponent. A shorter fighter, a shorter puncher, who he can move laterally against and really just sort of put some finesse on. And yeah, maybe what Sugar Sean really needs here to sort of regain his lost stock is a knockout. So I'd love to see that for him. Don't think it happens, though. Think we're looking at a Sean O'Malley decision victory. Sorry, Salsa Boy, but we will be going with a Derek Lewis KO victory, hopping on the mic afterwards and describing in graphic detail how he intends to celebrate with his wife. Look, Waldo Cortez Acosta has smoked a bunch of heavyweight bottom feeders because he is fast. This is really going to be a speed versus power matchup here because Salsa Boy's right hand is kind of dynamite. You know, former baseball player. That seems to be all you need to progress through the heavyweight division is the ability to wing a baseball. But no, I'm kind of just joking. Waldo Cortez Acosta has wrestling ability as well. Like, we saw him dispatch of Robelis de Spain, crafty little win there. And speed seems to give Derek Lewis problems, but I just think Waldo Cortez has never really been properly bonked in his career. He's never felt the power of a Derek Lewis, so we'll see. Derek Lewis claimed the first exchange he will knock out Waldo Cortez Acosta. Probably not, Derek Lewis. You're probably going to cower away, cheat intentionally, and then find yourself a fluky KO like you always do. So I'm going to side with it, but we'll see how it goes. I just predict Derek Lewis to land a big, juicy KO victory here. I know most people just think Derek Lewis is a meme with no talent or athleticism, but he's actually low-key elite. You know, Rico Verhoeven didn't want any of that smoke, so he's underrated. He's quite unassuming in this matchup here. He's going to land a big nasty KO blow on Waldo Cortez Acosta. Salsa Boy's going down for what he did to our Shamil Gaziev. We will have our revenge. Never forget. No, I just think Derek Lewis going to have a big spot here, but we will be going with a trademark Derek Lewis victory here, where he probably does lose the first two rounds on speed. Waldo Cortez is much faster hands, but that power is going to make an appearance in the third round. Derek Lewis KO win. The almighty, humble, stoic Arnold Allen will look to hold the gates at featherweight against the returning Gene Silva, the most chaotic member of the Fighting Nerds. This fight is going to be order versus chaos. These guys are honestly polar opposites, because when you look at Arnold Allen, he is composed, he is tactical, he is smart and defensive. Gene Silva, on the other hand, takes a ton of risk, is just a whirling dervish of autism, and likes to cause damage. So who will actually win in the fight? I'm predicting a unanimous decision victory for Gene Silva. Not a finish. We've seen Arnold Allen take on some pretty elite names like Max Holloway, Movsar Evloev, Giga Chikadze, coming out relatively unscathed and holding his own in those fights. But I think what's going to happen here is Gene Silva is just going to be busier, look like he's doing more, getting more reactions from the crowd, sneaking in more damage. I could see knockdowns for Gene Silva. And Arnold Allen, I can see doing everything correct here, but not doing enough. Gene Silva will be just spazzing out too much in that cage, like he always is, looking to confuse with mind games, looking to sneak through heavy shots. I don't think Arnold Allen will have success grappling in this fight. We've seen Gene Silva really stifle Bryce Mitchell with choke attempts, and maybe Arnold Allen is stronger than a Bryce Mitchell in the wrestling. Maybe doesn't have like that prolonged wrestling endurance that Bryce Mitchell has, but could chuck around Gene Silva or neutralize that chaotic autism threat that he brings. But I just don't see it. I'm going Gene Silva for the chaos that he brings. Yeah, in all seriousness, I think he's going to do more. He's going to be busier. He's going to sneak in damage on Arnold Allen. And even if he doesn't, I think the strikes will be close and the judges will side with Gene Silva for everything that he's doing. He is high vibration in that cage, whereas Arnold Allen looks half asleep sometimes. Like, I want to see him wake up like he did in the Dan Hooker fight. Like, can we get that version of Arnold Allen more often? But he never really flips that switch. Maybe he will here. Maybe Gene Silva will bring the dog out of Arnold Allen. But I just don't see it. I think Arnold Allen, he teased the lightweight move, and that's where he's headed. We're going to get to see Gene Silva bounce back off that loss. We'll see how he does it. I think he's taken home a unanimous decision victory for the Nerds. This should be a fun one. Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas, the prospect versus the former champion / vet. Two spring-coiled women, very flexible, very fast. And I just like to say, Natalia Silva has one of the most impressive career comebacks in MMA history. If you go back and look at her early career, she started her career arguably 0-4. She went 1-3, and her only win in there was a DQ victory where she was smashed with an illegal knee. So she boasts here a 19-5 record, but she started her MMA career arguably 0-4. So this chick has really found her momentum. She's taken it seriously. She's made so many amazing adjustments to find this momentum for herself, tearing it up in the UFC. I used to label her a bit of a can crusher because she didn't really have those names that I was looking for on her resume, but now she does. Natalia Silva is great. She has precise striking. She has very flexible kicks, great clinch, everything. Natalia Silva has everything you need to be champion. And so does Rose Namajunas, obviously. Rose's boxing is incredible. She has so much talent. In the grappling as well, flying triangles, you name it. Rose Namajunas, deadly with her creativity as well, but a chronic overthinker Rose Namajunas is. And that's sort of come along later into her career, even as champion, like losing the belt to Esparza in the most boring fight of all time. So it's hard to trust her these days. I'm going to go with Natalia Silva. The streak she's on is incredible, not just because she's winning, but because it's hard to really spot any errors that she's making. She gets ahead, she stays ahead, she stays out of danger. So, gonna go Natalia Silva. Rose Namajunas trains well, trains hard, is just gleaming with talent, but yeah, it's not looking good. I think Natalia Silva I see Natalia Silva being too young and strong for Rose, playing with range and space too intelligently, and when Rose gets overzealous, overconfident, it'll be Natalia Silva taking her to the ground and pursuing a submission. So we're going to go Natalia Silva, getting yet another unanimous decision victory with technical brilliance and control over Rose Namajunas. Guys, I would love nothing more than to say Deiveson Figueiredo is going to come in here and treat Umar Nurmagomedov like a Joseph Benavidez. But that is not what is going to happen here, unfortunately. Umar Nurmagomedov has the skills to pay the bills. Deiveson Figueiredo has pretty underrated punch power here in this matchup. Could fluke it. Honestly, could fluke it. Umar Nurmagomedov eating that knee from Mario Bautista last time out. Beksat Almakhan dropped him like 10 seconds in, so you can hit the chin of Umar Nurmagomedov. People have done it in the past. And Figueiredo is not a man to trifle with, but look, Umar will probably just be very, very safe in this fight here. School Deiveson Figueiredo with his kicks. Umar's got phenomenal kicks. I think he can win this entire fight with his kicks alone. He should not be pocket boxing with Deiveson Figueiredo, who is a power merchant, like dropping Marlon Vera. Like, all the signs are there that you do not play with Deiveson Figueiredo in the boxing, because he can fluke it. You do what Corey Sandhagen did. You circle him nonstop, you pick at him, you poke at him. That's probably what Umar Nurmagomedov will do. If he can't get this win, I believe he's, again, a gigantic favorite because he's got everything. All the skills to pay the bills, the mountain cardio, Khabib in his corner, literally cheat codes. Deiveson Figueiredo, pretty sorry, sad, depressing performance against Montel Jackson that I heavily criticized because he won the fight by, I believe, split decision, landing like 4 head strikes. It was a really awkward fight, a lot of ground control, messy, a lot of timidity, so I wasn't a big fan. But I don't want to write him off, like still 25-5, coming off a win at his age. He's not cutting as much weight anymore, so he probably feels better in there. We'll see. This is actually an awesome fight. I'm happy with this fight. I just see Umar dominance. I see Figueiredo being forced into positions where he's very, very uncomfortable and just too small, too short and stubby to even reach Umar. So we'll see, though. There should be some good scrambles in this fight. I think it will be fun. So the pick will be Cousin Umar by submission. I'm actually going to go with Umar being able to out-wrestle and out-position Deiveson Figueiredo and actually land a submission on the black belt. So Umar's going to start 2026 hot and fresh. Really want to see Petr Yan versus Umar. I think that is a style clash from the MMA gods. That would be a beautiful fight, so I think he gets it done here over Figgy. Now, guys, you have to hear me out on this one. Ateba Gautier versus Andre PULYAEV. This is Ateba Gautier's first step up in competition, okay? That's just the facts. Say what you want about his death touch, punch power that he's got. What is the most impressive win on his resume? Jose Medina? Like, Andre PULYAEV gets in there with Christian Leroy Duncan and does the dance for 15 minutes. That's more impressive to me than anything Ateba Gautier has done, who is just walk in the cage, trudge forward, power strike, kill people. Andre PULYAEV can match him in height, match him in length, is a slick Russian striker, coming off a body kick KO win, and was on a nice little win streak himself before facing off against Christian Leroy Duncan, which was way too much, way too soon. So, yes, that did sort of affect his trajectory, and yes, he does look like completely malnourished at 185, but dude, this man is slick. He can land knockouts himself. I'm predicting the Ateba Gautier downfall. I had a good long look at his career, and Ateba's young, green in MMA, and that one loss, you may ask, where did that come from? That is a split decision loss to an overweight Welshman on the regional scene. So Ateba Gautier, not a shiny perfect record either, okay? I know he's been murking everybody and is probably a minus 3,000 favorite, but guys, I always land underdog picks, and we're going Andre PULYAEV to literally shake up the MMA timeline here, probably knocking out Ateba Gautier in a wild first-round fight. Like, Ateba Gautier just runs forward and power strikes. All his fights are like 30 seconds. I'm going to go with Andre PULYAEV here, doing the unthinkable. Energy! Energy! Alex Perez, Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson finally getting a step up, a real shot deep into these flyweight rankings. You'll love to see this kind of thing. It took so long. He had to go through so much injustice with the Ramazan Tamarov fight not being overturned to at least a no contest. He lost a close decision to a drug cheat. Alex Perez is damaged goods, still packs pretty serious volume and good boxing, but yeah, his time's over. It really is. Charles Johnson has so many things going good for him in this matchup. Height, size, athleticism, momentum. It's going to be a Charles Johnson victory, but how will he do it? The last few, Charles Johnson has really exceeded our expectations. Not just the Josh Van knockout, I'm talking the Loner Kavanaugh knockout. I was so high on Loner Kavanaugh after he was, big upped by Ilia Topuria and then proceeded to lose everything to Charles Johnson by horrific knockout. It was so beautiful in China, I believe. So Charles Johnson, I want to see him stack some aura and really take off, because he does have the Josh Van win. And that should matter for something, right? So 2026, we're seeing Charles Johnson, hopefully not Apex main event, get this guy in front of a crowd, because his fights are amazing. You need to get Charles Johnson out of the Apex, that jail cell, that crusty rundown warehouse. But yeah, sorry Alex Perez, retirement's coming soon. So many injuries, so many canceled fights for him. How you can put an ounce of trust into Alex Perez in big 2026, all the power to you. I'm going Charles Johnson. I know what he's all about. He's proved me wrong on multiple occasions. I'd be a fool to fade the energy. The ghost of Nikita Krylov takes on the Iron Leg, Modestas Bukauskas, in what will be Nikita Krylov bringing some real heat to Modestas here, because, look, I know he's been bonked unconscious by Dominic Reyes, Bogdan Guskov. Modestas Bukauskas is a step down. Look, Nikita Krylov, I think he knows his career is on the line here. He's never taken 3 losses in a row, and this could be it for him. So I think he'll actually come out and insta-grapple, and his grappling's amazing. He took down Volkan Oezdemir, came back from hell in that fight, was almost knocked out early in round 1, battled back very hard. When he's not just epically KO'd, Nikita Krylov actually has a ton of scrap and durability in him. I think people forget, man. Modestas Bukauskas looks to get a 5-fight win streak here. He's really bounced back, but it wasn't too long ago that he was chin-checked by Vitor Petrino, a power merchant. I don't know. I just feel better about a Krylov pick because he knows his job's on the line. Modestas Bukauskas is still, climbing light heavyweight, and Nikita Krylov is that established vet. I know he's coming off of losses. I don't want to fall into recency bias. Krylov actually brings a lot of chaos and can find finishes out of nowhere, so give me the more opportunistic finisher in this matchup. I think Modestas is going to get really shocked when he can't just finish Nikita Krylov and loses some scrambles, loses some striking exchanges, and Krylov actually puts together a classic, crafty, gritty veteran win here. So we're going to go Krylov. I hope he's not done. That might just be the old fan in me watching this guy back when his nickname was Al Capone. The real hardcores know. We're going to go Nikita Krylov here, gang. Unironically, the most talented fighter on this entire event is Michael Johnson, okay? Wins over Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, Edson Barboza, nearly beat Josh Emmett as well before being highlighted. This is also another speed versus power matchup here, but I think here, speed will prevail. Michael the Menace Johnson, Alexander the Great Ape Hernandez. I still remember the days of the Alexander Hernandez hype train and how brutally it crashed. Up on stage, trash-talking Donald Cerrone, I'm on my mission, you're a geriatric cowboy playing with your pop gun, and then proceeds to just get dog-walked. Alexander Hernandez was exposed in his early career as a strength merchant. He hauled around Olivier Aubin-Mercier with his wrestling, some lay-and-pray bullshit. Fluked the KO over Dariush, is what it is. And so such a clear example of overconfidence in MMA, right? Feels amazing on regionals, has all these big moments, all this high confidence, completely down the drain, loses to Drew Dober afterwards, Thiago Moises, tries a disastrous featherweight move, loses to Damon Jackson, Billy Quarantillo, these pace pushers. Now he's back at lightweight trying to make it work, knocked out Chase Hooper. That is impressive. Anyways, Michael Johnson should run circles around Alexander Hernandez. Michael Johnson struggles with people who are dumb like Clay Guida and just giga grapple and slop it up. That is how Michael Johnson actually has got those 19 losses on his record. No, he should have a good performance here. He doesn't look like he's slowing down. Michael Johnson's 36, 37, still looks as fast as he was when he was in his 20s, with real serious hand speed and great takedown defense. So Alexander Hernandez sort of fluked his way into becoming this nightmare contender on the rise. He's coming up through lightweight. He's going to destroy Cowboy Cerrone. I'm on my mission. No, he's not that good. Proceeded to lose to Drew Dober, Thiago Moises, Damon Jackson. Good God. Michael Johnson's going to have a field day here. Probably getting a KO in the later rounds or a crispy clean boxing decision victory for MJ. Blobsters on the rise. Upcoming heavyweights here, Josh Hokit, Denzel Freeman. I love Denzel Freeman, former Navy SEAL, I believe. He's got some creative, fun kicks. He's actually a pretty good striker. But Josh Hokit is a bit of a demon. This guy's like the Colby Covington of the heavyweight division. Jackson Wink product. These guys go crazy hard. His striking's dog shit, but he's like a Colby Covington. Excellent conditioning, excellent wrestling. Josh Hokit actually is quite a menace, so I'm going to pick him to deal with Denzel Freeman here. I think Josh Hokit, the type of fighter that's going to be able to beat him, is just an unmovable object, a physical specimen, and all those guys are way, way up at the top of heavyweight, like your Aspinalls, your Volkovs, your Derek Lewises. Josh Hokit should dispatch of every other heavyweight on this roster because he's undersized for heavyweight, but it's because he's bringing in an incredible cardio pace just to shoot takedowns over and over and over and exhaust all these blobsters. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. And he's got fast hands, but yeah, Josh Hokit, not really a full-sized heavyweight. So I think eventually he will get exposed. He's been rocked already, I believe, on the Contender Series or his debut. It was a little rocky, but yeah, I know what I'm looking at. Josh Hokit, all pace, all pressure. Jackson Wink, this guy's going to probably go on a pretty nice win streak here. So expect him to be a favorite in 5 more fights and win all of them. He's probably just going to slime it up, take down Denzel Freeman in the first 10 seconds. So yeah, Josh Hokit, the heavyweight Colby Covington, he even gets on the mic and talks trash because he's ready to slime it up and really bore us to death. So that's why you see his personality on the mic already. It's because it's foreshadowing what's coming. This guy's a wrestler. He's not fun, but he is going to push a pretty serious pace. Probably a ground-based TKO. He'll probably progress to mount and just pound out Denzel Freeman. It sucks because Denzel Freeman's actually fun. Actually a fun striker with creativity. Josh Hokit is just, abusing his cardio, running the whole wrestling chain. I get it. The heavyweight Colby Covington is here, and his name is Josh Hokit. Ricky Turcios, Cameron Smotherman. Look, Ricky Turcios looks like a bit of an NPC. It looks like he's role-playing out there sometimes, but actually has a pretty good style to win fights in MMA. He's very active, very spazzy, shows a lot to the judges to get wins. Ricky Turcios is actually sort of the same archetype as a Gene Silva, just without any finishing potential. So I don't think he'll win this fight against Cameron Smotherman, who got this weird-ass matchup of Ricky Simone last time, which is a crazy, monumental step up in competition. I didn't understand that matchup at all. He needs more of a slow build in the UFC, and they gave him Ricky Simone, which made no sense. Ricky Simone should be fighting ranked competition. He had a competitive fight with Song Yadong. Cameron Smotherman, I like his style. He's all tucked up in his defensive shell. He moves forward. He boxes well. And I like how he's been tested. He's been tested by the long, lanky striker of Asurhi City, and he got really shown that next level, the Ricky Simone challenge that he just couldn't pass. Ricky Turcios, on the other hand, is beatable. Definitely beatable. He's going to be out there throwing tons of little pitter-patter volume at Cameron Smotherman, who can take it all on the shell and come back harder, come back stronger, mix in wrestling as well. Ricky Turcios is busy, scrambly, scrappy, but Cameron Smotherman has a good physicality and a good build for this division. I think he's only going to get better as time goes on. When I look at Turcios, he just doesn't seem UFC level. The loss to Amian Zahabi, in hindsight, isn't really that bad because we're seeing Zahabi go on and do his thing and actually be a technical boxer, but losing dominantly to Raul Rosas Jr., can't get it done over Bernardo Sapage. I think Cameron Smotherman can also do what they did and just stay a step ahead of Ricky Turcios, cause more convincing damage, look like he's winning. Ricky Turcios just fails to look like he's winning most of the time. It is a lot of like airboxing role play out there, so we're going to go Cameron Smotherman on these prelims, folks. The real main event, Adam Fugitt versus Ty Miller. Ty Miller looks like Mario Bautista's whiter, like, cousin that lives in the shed. Some shocking similarities there. Look, Adam Fugitt is an NPC as well, just sort of in the UFC as a spot filler to lose to people. Maybe the unluckiest man at welterweight, just like joining the UFC during the giant like prospect wave, like he fought Michael Morales, Islam Dulatov. Like maybe his luck is just atrocious and he can somehow win this and catch a break, but I don't see it. I see him getting finished again. This kid trains in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This kid's a demon, 6-0. He's coming for his UFC spot. Fugitt has technical ability, but talk about just a physical wimp in this division. You can sort of have your way with him in any realm of fighting. Stand-up exchanges, clinch, takedowns, ground control. You can really do it all against him. And he just doesn't have a good process. I remember his fight quite vividly of Josh Quinlan, and it was disgusting to me. It was just exclusively leg kicks. He's horrified of boxing exchanges. You can't be in the UFC and be that gun-shy to throw fisticuffs. I'm sorry, Adam Fugitt. You're not meant for the UFC. Ty Miller, we'll see how he blossoms as a prospect. Honestly looks like Mario Bautista, so probably will go quite far. Give it up for Ty Miller. Going to come in here and smash up Adam Fugitt, kick off this pay-per-view in style with a nasty finish, probably a TKO. We are rewriting timelines this year, for sure. Without a doubt, we've done it already with Joshua Van, Petr Yan. It's going to continue. I will manifest it into the existence. I'm praying to the MMA gods every day. You should as well. So, everybody, welcome to Paramount. We are kicking this year off strong with a really decent card, even with the co-main falling out. Thank you guys for being here, tapping into predictions as always. And give yourself a serious pat on the back for making it through the 6-week holiday break, the great purge, the combat drought, as we call it. You know, I've been through it many years now, but every time it doesn't get any easier. I'm serious about that. I need live combat to stay in rhythm and, you know, really keep my mental intact. I need combat in my life. So anyways, thank you for being here. Big matchups on the horizon. Gaethje Pimblett. Who will it be? A clash of titans for sure. Year one of this channel was interesting, to say the least. I really shot for the stars with my predictions. Always going from gut instinct, raw logic, not buying into, you know, propaganda all over Instagram and the internet. And just understanding combat, you know, going back to the core of training and breaking down these matchups for you guys. So thank you for being here, the core community. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all real soon.